Virgo, I need you to understand something that goes far beyond a simple crush or a passing interest. You are not just someone they think about when they're bored. You are not a fleeting thought that disappears with the next distraction. You have become a permanent resident in the quietest corners of their mind. You are the ghost that haunts their most peaceful moments, the echo that lingers in every empty room, the name their fingers type out by muscle memory before they even realize what they're doing. They have tried with every fiber of their being to forget you. They have thrown themselves into work, into new hobbies, into dates with people who talk a lot and say nothing. They have deleted your number and resaved it 3 times. They have told themselves out loud in the mirror, it's over, move on. They're not thinking about you. But it's a lie. A fragile, paper-thin lie that shatters the second they are alone with their thoughts. You are the one they can't forget. And this realization is not a gentle one. It's a tidal wave that has finally crashed over the walls they built, and it's changing everything about how they see their future. Let's pull back the curtain on what forgetting you has actually looked like for them. It hasn't been a clean break. It's been a series of failed experiments, each one proving to them just how deeply you're embedded in their psyche. They went on that date last Tuesday with someone who was on paper perfect, funny, attractive, successful. They sat across the table, nodding and smiling, while their date told a hilarious story about a work trip gone wrong. And all they could think about was the way you tell stories, not with big dramatic gestures, but with quiet, meticulous detail, the way your eyes light up when you get to the good part, the way you pause to make sure they're following along. The date was laughing, but they were miles away, remembering the time you told them about that obscure historical fact for 20 minutes, and they didn't want you to stop. They left that date feeling emptier than when they arrived. The person was great, but they weren't you, and that was the problem. Every person they meet now is held up against the standard. You set a standard of depth, of quiet understanding, of feeling truly seen, and everyone falls short. You have ruined them for anyone else, and they are just now admitting it to themselves. This isn't about nostalgia for a few good memories. This is about the way you have fundamentally rewired their nervous system. It's about the physiological response they can't control. The smell of rain on concrete, it doesn't just remind them of you, it triggers a physical ache in their chest because they remember walking with you in a sudden downpour, sharing your umbrella, your shoulder brushing against theirs. They hear a specific chord progression in a song they've never heard before, and their breath catches because it sounds like you. It sounds like the feeling they get when you're explaining something you're passionate about, calm, steady, intricate. They'll be in the middle of a meeting, and their mind will drift to that offhand comment you made about the way sunlight filters through leaves in the autumn, and they'll miss you so sharply it feels like a physical pull. This is not voluntary remembering. This is involuntary haunting. You are in the fabric of their daily life, woven into the most mundane sensory inputs, and they cannot scrub you out. The most dangerous part for them, the part that is forcing this impending shift, is what happens in the dead of night. In the silence between midnight and 4 a.m., when the world is asleep and their defenses are down, that's when you take up the most space. They'll lie in bed staring at the ceiling, and their brain will launch into a full-scale, high-definition replay of moments you probably don't even remember. The time you handed them a tissue without a word when they were fighting a cold. The way you organized their chaotic bookshelf by color and genre when you were just killing time. The specific dry way you made fun of a terrible movie you were both watching, a joke, so subtle, no one else in the room got it, but it made them laugh until they cried. In these quiet, vulnerable hours, they don't just remember you, they feel your absence. It becomes a tangible thing, a cold spot in the bed, a silence that's too loud, a space in their life that is perfectly, uniquely U-shaped, and they realize no one else fits that space. They could try to force someone else into it, but it would be a poor fit. A constant grating reminder that it's not you. They've reached the stage of bargaining with themselves. This is the critical pivot point. They've moved past denial. I'm over them. They've moved past anger. Why can't I just forget them? Now they're in the messy, desperate stage of bargaining. Their internal monologue sounds like this. What if I just text them about that article we talked about? No big deal, just friends sharing things. What if I accidentally run into them at that cafe they like on Saturday morning? It's a coincidence. Totally normal. What if I just call them and pretend I need advice on something? That's a neutral reason to reach out. They are constructing elaborate, flimsy justifications for breaking the silence. Every single one of these bargains is a thread pulling them closer to the inevitable. They are going to reach out. The need to hear your voice, to know you're still there, to see if that connection still sparks, has become a biological imperative. It outweighs the risk. It outweighs the pride. It outweighs the fear of rejection. What they are truly afraid of isn't that you'll say no. It's that you've already forgotten them. The thought that they have been living in this private hell of memory while you have moved on peacefully is unbearable to them. The possibility that you don't think about them in the quiet moments, that you don't hear a song and feel a pang, that you don't see their name pop up on your phone and feel your heart jump, that is the core fear driving them toward action. They need to know if the ghost haunts you too. They need to know if the echo is mutual. This isn't just about rekindling something. It's about validating their own reality. They need to know that what they felt was real and not a one-sided fantasy they constructed to cope with loneliness. So Virgo, understand this. The call, the text, the accidental meeting, it's not a whim. It's the culmination of a long, painful internal war. They have fought against this feeling with every weapon they have: logic, distraction, pride, anger. And they have lost, you have won without even trying. Your quiet consistency, your deep presence, your unshakable authenticity have created a vacuum in their life that nothing else can fill. They have compared every new person, every new experience to the memory of you, and everything else feels like a cheap imitation. When they do reach out, and they will, it's a matter of when, not if, it will be from a place of exhausted surrender. They will have given up the fight to forget you. The message might not be a grand, poetic declaration of love. It might be simple. It might be fragile. It might just be your name. Hey, followed by a long pause where they're trying to figure out how to fit a universe of feeling into a text box, but the subtext will be deafening. The subtext will be, I have tried to forget you. I have failed. You are in everything. What do we do now? Your power in this situation, Virgo, is your legendary patience and your ability to see truth. You don't rush, you don't panic, you observe, you analyze, you feel. When this moment comes, you will know. You will feel the weight of everything they're not saying. Your job is not to rescue them or to immediately solve this. Your job is to simply acknowledge the truth, to let them know that the ghost is real, that the echo is mutual, that they haven't been alone in this quiet, haunting yearning. That is the validation they are secretly hoping for. That is the key that will unlock everything that comes next. They are not reaching out to a version of you they've idealized. They are reaching out to the real you, the quiet, sometimes distant, deeply thoughtful, fiercely loyal you. The you that doesn't perform, the you that exists beneath the surface. They miss that person. They yearn for that peace. And they are finally desperately ready to admit that they would rather have the complicated, real thing with you than the simple, easy imitation with anyone else. You are the one they can't forget. And that unforgettable quality is about to change the course of everything.